Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name's Rebecca, I'm 44 years old and I'm somebody who used to suffer from multiple sclerosis who no longer experiences any of the symptoms since starting the carnivore diet nearly 2 years ago. Well, in today's video, unfortunately, I'm going to be covering something slightly controversial in the carnivore community, and that is the topic of gout and the carnivore diet. Weirdly, just as this topic became relevant to me, Sean Baker actually posted a video on the topic, so I know that it's not as straightforward as it might sound, and I guess what this video is kind of like a call for help or for contributions from you guys, tips or insights into what might be happening. So you may have seen recently on my channel that I've been posting about a foot problem that I have. So a couple of weeks ago, I went into the hospital to have an x-ray because I thought that I might have a fracture in my foot, and I didn't. It wasn't a fracture, and actually what they told me was that there's a possibility that it was one of two things. The first thing they told me was it could be an inflamed ligament or plantar fasciitis. That's the condition, they said, that can just sometimes randomly happen and they don't know why. Or they said it could be arthritis, and I thought, well, it's not arthritis, is it? Like, I can't have arthritis, it's ridiculous. So I went home believing that I had an inflamed ligament and that it was plantar fasciitis. They said either way the treatment's the same, but what you need to do is go to your local GP for a blood test to determine what exactly it is and then take it forward from there with that information. So that's what I did. I had a course of anti-inflammatories which I took for a week, but it has not helped. I am actually, I would say, in an even worse situation than I was 2 weeks ago. My foot's completely inflamed. My ankle is now also really bad because I've been walking on the side of my foot for the past 2 weeks, and now it's impossible for me to drive. I'm on a cocktail of painkillers, cocodamol, ibuprofen, and I'm starting to wonder if it's gout. And I don't think that I can overlook that possibility because my diet, being on the carnivore diet, is very high in purines, and purines are what cause gout. Now, I didn't know any of this until the past 2 weeks. I've been on a crash course in in gout, which I could do without. I could do without gout, but that's what's happening. It's been a difficult few weeks because I've been stuck at home alone, trying to look after the animals, and I kind of got used to having a busy life again, a social life, you know, a full calendar, exercising, all of these things, and suddenly I can't even make it up to the chicken coop to let the chickens out, you know, and I let alone walk the dogs or drive to the supermarket. So I'm starting to get a little bit, I guess, panicky because this can't go on, and it seems that when it gets slightly better, I go out and do all the things I need to do, and then I have an even worse day. I have like you know, it's 2 steps forwards, 10 steps back kind of thing. And now my foot's discoloured and swollen, and I'm on crutches, and I just know that it can't go on. And I am now starting to suspect that it might be gout, but I haven't had the blood test that I need to have. And the reason being, I actually did go to the GP on Saturday here in my local town, and very nice guy, but he didn't speak Spanish. I was like, they said in the reception, you need to speak slowly to him so that he'll understand you. I'm like, you're telling me that I need to speak slowly to him in Spanish so that he understands me? What? Turns out he's Russian, and he doesn't speak a very high level of Spanish, and nor did he wish to speak English. He said he does speak a bit of English, but he finds it confusing to go from Spanish into English, so he'd rather stick in Spanish. That was a little bit frustrating because, you know, a doctor, you've got to be able to communicate with a doctor, haven't you? Not just that, but he was Googling stuff. I told him it could be plantar fasciitis. He started Googling it. I told him I was on cocodamol. He Googled it. Like, you're supposed to, I can do your job, mate. I can Google stuff and speak Spanish better than you. Like, give me your job, you know? But anyway, so that didn't get me anywhere. And he just said, go back to A&E. A&E is accident and emergency. I think you call it ER in the US. He said, go back to the hospital, go back to A&E, and they'll look at it in more depth. And I was like, well, they've already given me an x-ray. You know, they told me to go to you. I'm at the point where I'm like, look, I'm strongly now suspecting that this could be gout, and And it makes sense because the diet that I'm currently following is high in purines, and purines cause gout. They crystallize in your foot. That's what gout is, and it's excruciatingly painful. And you're advised to follow a diet that's low in purines. So I'm now facing the possibility that I've cured my MS on the carnivore diet, but that I have given myself gout. Now, I don't think it's, from what I understand, it's not as straightforward as the carnivore diet always causes gout. Like, there are so many people out there who've been following the carnivore diet for a long time and they don't have it. Maybe I have a propensity to it. Maybe I haven't been following the carnivore diet in an optimal way, and that's what's landed me in this situation. Maybe it's not gout because I still haven't had that blood test, but the more I research it, the more I think that it probably is, and the more I'm willing to experiment with changing my diet to try and get the best out of my diet in terms of MS and avoid gout at the same time. So at the moment, I'm considering changing my diet. I'm considering adjusting it. I'm never going to go back to the way that I ate before the carnivore diet. And I'm also only going to experiment with this change in my diet because, you know, when you've been through something like MS and then you've seen the results that I've seen, you can't ignore that. So I know that my body needs fat, 100%. I know that my body needs meat and all the nutrients that come with meat. And I know that my body doesn't need refined carbohydrates and sugar, gluten, all of those nasties, and probably oxalates and these other things. But I've been investigating a diet that I might experiment with. See, one question that I've had the whole time is, do I now need to stick to a strict carnivore diet for the rest of my life? Or is my MS fixed and I'm free to experiment with other diets? And this has kind of forced the issue. So I think what will be interesting is if I do follow, which I think I will, this new diet where I'm going to take what I've learned from carnivore diet but incorporate different elements, will that mean that my MS comes back? And that is useful data for people following the carnivore diet. You know, if I'm fixed because of the carnivore diet, because of this 2 years that I've been on the diet, and I can now tolerate moving to a different diet, that's useful data. And at least if I can get on top of this suspected gout and maybe go back to the carnivore diet afterwards, but with some tweaks, which might prevent me from having another gout attack, if indeed it is gout. I think what I'm going to do for now, I mean, I do need to still have this blood test and I will be able to confirm if I'm dealing with gout or not. And there's also medicine. If it is gout, there will be medicine I can take to help with the gout. But of course, taking medications just to treat symptoms isn't the way to go. If diet's a huge foundational building block in our health, and my diet has caused gout, then I want to adjust my diet so that I'm preventing gout that way. So I've been investigating a kind of hybrid diet which might help me with the gout, but also not stray too far from the carnivore diet and what's helping me on the carnivore diet with my MS. And it includes things like salmon, turkey, chicken, so meats and fish that are low in purines, and it includes some vegetables, so like zucchini or courgette, as I would say as a Brit, sauerkraut, sweet potato, broccoli, avocado. So it's including some carefully selected types of vegetables. And to be honest, it's quite appealing to me, you know, after being strict carnivore for 2 years straight. I'm willing to give it a bash just to see if it helps me, because one thing's for sure, I can't live with my foot being like this. And if there's anything I can do to help fix the problem, I will experiment with it. And in so doing, I will learn more about the carnivore diet. Obviously, I still need this blood test to find out if it is gout, because it might not be gout. I just have this horrible feeling that it is. And I would really be interested to know what you guys think, and if you have any tips, and if you could, you know, come with me on this new journey and this new experiment. I'm never going to stray too far away from carnivore. Carnivore gave me my life back. I would still recommend it to people. If I do change my diet, I will see what effect it has. Obviously, if I start to get MS symptoms again, I'm gonna want to go straight back to carnivore. But then if I do go straight back to carnivore, I need to find ways to make sure that my purine intake remains low, or that I'm practicing the diet in a way which enables me to process purines better. Like, I don't know. What could it be in the carnivore diet, in my practice, that has led to this? I'm so interested to know what you guys think. Yeah, so I guess I'll just keep you informed. As soon as I manage to get the blood test, I will let you know if it is gout. It still might not be, but if it is, what would you guys recommend on top of what I've suggested already? Have any of you experienced this problem? And what do you guys know about uric acid and gout and the carnivore diet? And what can I do to continue to get the best out of the carnivore diet in terms of multiple sclerosis, but also avoid this situation with gout? Because honestly, it's excruciating and it's actually holding back my entire life right now. I need to be able to look after my animals and go about my daily life, and I can't with my foot like this. So yeah, I will report back on this. This is just introducing the situation to you guys and asking for your input, basically. I'm in the middle of researching it all at the moment, and I'll let you know as soon as possible if it is gout, and how my new diet is going, what impact it's having on my body. I hope that whatever happens is it just becomes data to help research into the carnivore diet. And yeah, so it sucks, but that's life. And yeah, there you go. That's my latest update. So look forward to reading your comments, and take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.